So today I'm here with my good friend Dave, David Luman. I've actually known him all my life. Um, this is Dave here. How's it going, Dave?
Very good. Very good. Glad
And
to be
so
here.
the reason I'm interviewing Dave today is because, well, he works for CR England, and I know that's not like one of the top jobs or whatever, but Dave has done something that I think is pretty amazing. He has proven that you can do great at just about any carrier. He's done a great job. He's got a great record. And literally, he's in the process of getting ready to work for Walmart, like literally doing the same job I'm doing right now. So let me introduce Dave here real quick and let him tell us about a little bit about himself there. Hey, Dave, tell us about how you got into trucking and just what led up to this and just a little bit about yourself.
Um, I really got sick of not making enough money doing anything. You know what I mean? Construction was a lot of hard labor and the pay was really, really low. I really got tired of getting like 15 and 25-cent raises that were
Oh yeah,
supposed to be a big wow thing, you know what I mean? And
right, right.
and I just finally got to a point where I was fed up making just under what it took to live. You know what I mean? So anyways, I did a lot of different things. I was an armed guard. I worked in restaurants. I got a diploma in hotel restaurant management. I went back and got my high school diploma because everybody said I needed a high school diploma. I went into construction because they were hiring guys at 15 and $20 an hour.
Yeah.
And none of it ever really worked out. So when I went into trucking, I was in church talking to a guy, and he said, "You know what?" He goes, "Why don't you call the trucking company?" He worked for Swift, you know, and so he goes, "Why don't you call one of these trucking companies and go to work truck driving?" He goes, "Me and my wife truck driving." He goes, "I make $1,000 a week," and I was like, "Wow!" At that time, $1,000 a week was like 3 times more than what I was getting paid weekly. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
anyways, sure enough, I get online and I called CR England. The next day, a recruiter called me. He said, "We can get you a bus ticket Monday." It was Friday night. He goes, "We can get you a bus ticket Monday." They sent me a bus ticket over the phone in an email. And I was on a Greyhound bus to Los Angeles on Monday morning. Um, Shuttle picked me up uh, at the bus station, took me
Right.
to a hotel room. They put me in a hotel room, and the shuttle came and picked us up every day and took us back and forth to school.
Well, what made you decide to go with CR England? Is that what the Swift driver had said, or
You know, CR England, I really don't know exactly what made me go with them, except for at the time I didn't know a lot about it, but I would have to say they had a big claim of being an American business that was a truck driving business owned by truck drivers.
no?
And they also had a thing going on where if you drove for them, you signed it for a school loan, but if you drove for them for a year, they paid your school loan off. And at the time, I had tried to do a lot of things like go to workforce, and I tried to go to like get like different loan programs and stuff like that. And at the time, for some odd reason, they just weren't available for truck driving.
Right.
So, and CR England had it all set up to where they took care of everything right there in house. They even had DMV instructors right there in house when we did our driving tests and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
They
remember you
put my
told me
picture
that.
right in
That
the.
blew me away when you told me that. I was like, wow, they're right there on site at CR England down in LA.
Yeah, they actually took my picture for my driver's license in the office of CR England. I
Wow.
was really surprised when I got my driver's license. I was like, where'd they get this picture? And I was like, oh, this is the picture they took in the office. But yeah, they actually had a DMV instructor on site, which was really cool. I mean, there was no rigmarole of going to DMV and taking this test or taking that test or anything like that. We actually went to the DMV to take our our permit tests, but I'm not sure. I can't remember that far back. But yeah,
Right.
they had a really cool school. It was more than just driving. They actually went really into safety and compliance and how to work your record. And they had after I went to work for them, I realized that they really had a really cool program where they have like a whole library of trucker schooling. You know, I mean, they have their own library of truck schooling where they you can look up anything from putting on your chains to
Right.
checking the slack adjusters on your brakes to going in depth on sleep science.
Right.
Um, they were really big on safety. When I got there, one of the cool things that I noticed, and one of the hardest things to get used to, is they were really, 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 really big on safety. And as far as I'm concerned, to drive one of these things, if you're not safe, you don't belong in one of them.
Right. And so basically you were overwhelmed with just all that they had. It was like they had everything there. It was a
Oh yeah,
one stop shop basically.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I can at any time I can get on my phone if I have a question. They actually have a what they call a road team, which is on Facebook, the CR England Road Team, and it's like a whole network of drivers that have been chosen to be on this road team that you can actually call and sit down with a driver and ask them questions about how to do stuff. And they have um, different resources like we have a logs department, we have a safety department, we have a compliance department, we have a human resources department, we have a payroll department, all accessible. You know what I mean? To
Right.
be able to talk to somebody all the time.
So you got your license, you had to work for them for a year to basically pay that back, right?
Yeah,
And
and back in the day for CR England, we had they had what they called phase one, phase two, and phase three.
right.
So for phase one, you went to school and you got your driver's license. Phase two, you went out with a trainer for 4 to 8 weeks. That's loosened up quite a bit.
Right.
Okay. 4 to 8 weeks was a long time. You went out over the road with a trainer. And then back then, you were required to do 6 months of team driving over the road.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have went for
And they, and
that.
they told you when you went to school for the first 6 weeks, they said, don't expect to go home for the first 6 weeks until you get out of phase two training.
Right. Well, at least
And
they were honest.
yeah, and then when I went out team driving, it was 8 months and it was hard. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It doable. You know what I mean? But in that 8 months, the things that you learn to to refine out on the road, like your hours of service and stuff like that, are really it was really essential.
Right.
I couldn't imagine after being over the road and now seeing what it seeing what I got out of it. I couldn't have imagined not going out over the road before I went to work for Walmart.
Right. Right.
And back
Which
then,
right now you're working for Walmart as a third party carrier,
yeah,
still
and
with CR England.
back
Right.
then we had to drive for a year before we could even apply for Walmart,
Right.
and our safety scores had to be immaculate.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
So
so
how did you find out about Walmart? Just somebody told you or
no, I've always been a big Walmart fan. Even when I was in security, I always kind of wanted to work for Walmart.
really?
Um, I worked with a security guard who was like in his 70s that was talking about how Walmart had really cool profit sharing with their employees and stuff like that, and you could actually buy stock
Right.
in Walmart. You know what I mean? When you worked for them and stuff, and so I always kind of wanted to work for Walmart. And then when I was over the road, I didn't really want to go OTR. You know what I mean? It's grueling to be all over the United States. It's definitely a lifestyle. And so when I picked a dedicated route, they had all these Walmart routes in California, which was back home. And I hadn't been back home for like 8 months.
Right.
So anyways, I called the recruiting office and I told them, I said, hey, I said, we have all these jobs at Walmart in California. Is there any way I can get one of these? She said, yeah. She said, sure you can. So they brought me into Colton, and I drove for Walmart and actually mentored for about 8 months, driving for Walmart. And Walmart has been great, by the way. I might say is Walmart gives us 2 days off. You know, they're good to us. The DCI men's a nice, clean, safe place to stay.
Right.
Walmart's been a great fit. It really has.
But when you say mentor, you mean you were mentoring other people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For doing the Walmart job. Same thing.
For doing the Walmart routes.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And they were generally, I don't know, we'd go from anywhere from, what was it? Casa Grande, Arizona,
Right.
Corinne, Utah, of course, McCarran, you know, about Las Vegas, 3 or 4 states.
You're doing the West Coast, basically, all the Western states. Yeah. So, so basically it took you 8 months before you were able to get into doing this. And then you've been doing CR England all total now for, you're going on 3 years, aren't you?
May.
Yeah.
3 years in May.
Yeah. So, I mean, what amazed me is that, I mean, literally the job that you do is exactly the same job I do. I mean, there's a little bit of difference. You do groceries all the time and you have to go and pick up some of these back hauls for groceries. I don't do that as much. I work for a GM distribution center, but I mean, overall, you're pretty much a Walmart driver. It's just the truck's a different color and you're getting your check from CR England.
Right. That's what I tell guys at work. I tell them, you're a Walmart driver. I tell them, you're driving a different colored truck. We're carrying a Walmart product.
You're getting paid a hell of a lot less too.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're planning on applying now. So, I mean, in a sense, it's been on the job training, paid training is what I would call it for sure.
Yeah, it really, it sets me up for Walmart. Hopefully, I'm hoping that Walmart can look back at my history at CR England and say, wow, this guy's already fit for us. We've got to show him we've got to put him through the ropes on a few things, but as far as delivering and stuff like that and the customer service part of it and driving a truck, we gotta,
right.
Yeah.
Right. It's pretty much the same thing. Well, commonly in the past, I mean, a lot of the guys that I've worked with over the years, they did exactly what you did. We've had all kinds of companies. We've had Great Wide, Swift, CR England. And I know throughout the country, they've used a lot of outside carriers to do the grocery DCs. And then a lot of these guys, they do exactly what you're doing. Once they qualify, they just apply and they land up coming over. And I think the number one thing that usually gets told to you guys is, well, I don't know why you don't just apply for Walmart. You're doing the same job.
Yeah. I get that a lot. I get that a lot from the Walmart guys that I do talk to at work. They're like, when are you going to come over? When are you going to come over? And they're like, why do you stick with CR England? Why do you stick with CR England? And it's like, CR England has just been good to me. You know what I mean? Right. I drive around in a 2022 Freightliner. It's the one of the newest trucks that you can have on the road. It's automatic. It's mine. You know what I mean? So I've been assigned to my own truck ever since I got into team driving, basically.
Right. Or when you got
So,
into the Walmart thing, you mean? Yeah.
but yeah, and I wouldn't drive. I don't, to tell you the truth, I don't think I could drive for like a lot of the private companies or stuff like that with the safety and compliance and hours of service regulation standards and everything like that that I've been taught to run by.
Right.
I wouldn't know how to run any other way.
Right.
And the only people that I know that really keep up with that I know of, because it's the only people I've been around, are Walmart and CR England
Right.
that keep up with those kind of safety standards,
Well,
and that back them up.
I think
Yeah.
it was probably a good thing running over the road for that first 8 months. I mean, I did it for about 4.5 years, almost 5 years, and just running the whole United States. This is before Walmart, and this is before GPS, or at least I didn't have one. Before the computers, I didn't even have a cell phone back in the day. It was payphones, at the truck stop. And I would get a map book out, and I would write my route on the window, and then I would wipe off, each time I made a turn, I would wipe it off the window with like
Yeah, see, I couldn't imagine doing that.
yeah. And so I mean, but then stuff like that, that's like going the old school way, and I think it's the best because I think you get better training. So I mean, I think everybody should run over the road for at least a year or something before they settle in on something. It just gives you good experience, is what I think.
Yeah, and I got lucky. I got a couple of really good mentors that actually taught me stuff about courtesy, communicating with drivers over the road. You know what I mean? Just basic driver etiquette,
Right.
professional driver etiquette.
Being professional.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
The difference between driving your car around every day personally and being a professional driver is different.
Right.
It's different because out there on the road, when you're what they call a professional driver, you're out there, you're looking out for everybody,
Right.
trying to do a job, accomplish a job. You're not playing.
Well, I think being a truck driver, you're looking out for people that aren't looking out for themselves, and they try to keep everybody safe on the road. But yeah, I think that I think you're gonna land up being a good fit. I hope you get the job. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't, but I think there's a lot of people that probably don't realize that, they want to work for Walmart and they're like, oh man, I gotta wait 30 months because it's 30 months experience over the
Oh
road.
yeah.
And you can be working for them a lot sooner in the capacity of like what you're doing. And then that way, when you finally come to Walmart, then you already know what's going on. I mean, you're ready to go.
Yeah, I was really amazed. They actually are starting to hire within and train store employees to get their driver's license.
They just started that. It's I think it's a pilot thing right now, and they're in the midst of putting these schools together, and there's only a couple of them across the United States. Matter of fact, there's another YouTuber here that's a Walmart driver, and I think he's trying to be one of the instructors right now. They're interviewing him, but yeah, Walmart's serious about having their own drivers pulling their freight.
But yeah, after driving a truck, since you asked, I don't know that I'd want to do anything else. Like I said, you do make a significant amount more money than doing anything else.
Right.
And but the money's not everything. There's no special group I have to fit into truck driving.
Right.
The truck, the sensors on the truck, the computer on the truck, all that computer generated information, it records my job performance.
Right.
I don't have to worry about being a part of an in crowd.
Right.
You know what I mean? All that information goes to CR England. CR England reads all that information. It goes on their grading sheet, and that's how my career is graded now. It's not by one single person. You know what I mean?
Right. And as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, then
Yeah.
life is good. I mean, I think that's what it is. It's a lifestyle. If
Yeah. And
you're
like
doing,
you said, it's basically what you want to be. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's on you. If you want to go out and you want to do well and excel at it, the ability is there.
right.
You know, the opportunity is there to be as good at it as you want to. You know, I've had people ask me, for instance, they say, is scaling the truck important? And I'm like, well, of course it's important. I told him, I said, but it matters on what kind of truck driver you want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do you want to be somebody that stays on top of that stuff or not? You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
You can either one, you
well,
know.
you're riding
I
the
can
edge.
dodge a
I mean,
way station.
you get, well, I was going to say you could dodge the way stations, but I mean, if you ever got in an accident and they found out you were overweight, I mean, you're in huge trouble. You end
Yeah,
up getting
yeah.
tickets, for being overweight. You ruin your license. I mean,
That's another thing to remember, I guess, too, if you want to be a commercial driver that I've noticed here in the past 3 years, is the amount of liability that you are under is tremendous.
right,
If you get caught dinking around in your personal car and get a ticket, it goes on your commercial driver's license. You're a commercial driver now.
right,
If like there's many things that we can't do. Like I take non-alcoholic mouthwash because you can't even breathe a point over.
right,
You know what I mean? On a breathalyzer, if you have a roadside breathalyzer, or God forbid you get in an accident and you're on antibiotics because you had the flu, and those antibiotics say that they cause drowsiness.
right,
Anything like that, it trumps you immediately as a commercial driver. If you excuse me, if you have to take if you take a NyQuil, you get in an accident, it ends up killing somebody. As soon as that comes across in your system, done. If there is no question of was it your fault? Wasn't it your fault? That just you're finished. I
right,
tried to tell a lot of people that, you know, I had a girl one time that wanted me to back up next to a store, and there was a propane tank in front of me, and she wanted me to get closer to the store. To get closer to the store, I had to get closer to the propane tank. And I told her, I said, listen, I'm not going to get any closer for you. And she got all upset. It turned into an argument. I said, listen, I told her, I said, you don't understand. When we make mistakes, it's not a small slap on the wrist.
right.
You know what I mean? It costs. And there was a girl standing behind her, and she goes, yeah, I know. And I said, well, what happened to you? And she goes, my husband's in jail right now for 6 years because he reached down between the seats to grab a pack of cigarettes and got in an accident.
And he was a truck driver.
Yeah.
Oh,
And people
wow.
got hurt in the accident. He went to jail for 6 years. She was working at a store that I went to.
Right.
And I told her, I turned around and I looked at the manager. I told her, I said, that's the kind of stuff that happens. I told her, if I run into this propane tank and it explodes, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
over. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Driving is over if you live.
Yeah.
It's still over. Yeah. Well, and yet you've worked for CR England, and I mean, you've done excellent and I tell people that it's like, it doesn't matter what you do in life. It's a matter of, do you believe you can do it? And do you see yourself as that, whatever that is, which in this case would be, do you see yourself as a truck driver and do you believe it? And well, you're proof. I mean, you've gone 3 years here with pretty much impeccable record. Probably going to move on to Walmart after this. And, it's just possible. Anybody can do it. And
Yeah.
I thought you'd be a good fit to tell the story. If people were thinking about it, I don't, maybe it's not CR England, maybe it's another company. I mean, like I said, we have a lot of companies across the
Yeah.
country that
This is,
that do the same thing.
I haven't gotten fortunate enough to have one of those jobs yet where, like I always tell the guys at work, I guess I do this to myself, right? Because I want to be dependable and reliable. But the guys at work that do or that are used to having 2 days off, when they have a problem or something like that with a truck or an issue, I'm like, I have to tell them, you have to understand that I don't have that. I've never had that natural convenience of being close to home and having 2 days off. So when there's a problem with the truck or something like that, I take care of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I go and I take it to the maintenance shop or whatever like that. If it's on my day off, I rent a nice hotel next to the maintenance shop and wait for my truck to get fixed.
Well, it's just part of being professional about it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I got a question for you then. Other people that were in your spot that they want to make more money, they want to do really good at, maybe truck driving. What would you tell them? What would your advice be? How should they start this? What should they do?
Well, first of all, I hear Swift has a great program. JB Hunt and CR England, and that's if you can't. Like some guys will go to like a Workforce has a program that many times they put benefits aside for truck driving school,
Right.
where you get like a one-time shot. Everybody in the United States gets a one-time shot at a $10,000 school loan, a grant. And you can use that $10,000 grant is what they use to send you to school. But when I went to truck driving school, like I said, I just found one of the big carriers and called them. And if they have a training facility, like I tell people now, I tell them, Walmart has a training facility. I don't know how that works. I don't know if you could be like somebody who has a driver's license and go to the Walmart training facility.
Well, you gotta work for one of the DCs plus it goes by seniority, so it's really not going to count for just regular people.
But yeah. So if you wanted to get into truck driving and you had no other way to get into truck driving and you were completely down and out, but you wanted to do it, I would say if you had a family, it better be a really strong structure.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do it the way I did it and the way you did it, you're going to be out over the road paying for your school loan, getting your school loan out of the way, getting your loan for truck driving school out of the way for at least the first year.
Well, lucky for me, we didn't have any kids yet, but the girl my wife, the one from back then.
But if you were alone,
she was pretty tough. She put up with a lot of that,
Yeah, if you're alone, it's a lot easier. I notice guys who do have families and companions and stuff like that. It's hard on them. Right. I always tell them too. I tell them it's going to be hard on you on a relationship. It'll test the strength of a relationship, that's for sure. But for the first year, I've also seen guys at CR England that have brought their girlfriends in that have turned into mentors. Yeah. Brought their girlfriend or their wife in, trained them, and been team drivers, and made a buku bucks and traveled all over the United States together.
Well, you know what I mean? See, that's when you really test the relationship because they're like right there in your face all the time. So it's like, if we're not killing each other after the first month or two, this is meant to be.
but yeah, if you wanted to get into it, I would definitely call one of the bigger. I'm a CR England guy. I would call CR England, fill out the application online. You fill out the application online, a recruiter calls you, he sends you a bus ticket over the phone, you jump on the bus, bam, you're in truck driving school.
See, I had a similar situation, but it was a little different. I went through the Workforce, and so they landed up just paying for the school, and it was an independent truck driving school. I went to it, and a lot of the guys were there at the school, and they were all wanting like local jobs or seasonal or, none of them really wanted to go over the road. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to get the experience as quick as I can. And so I asked him, I asked the trucking school, I go, are you going to have recruiters come here or anything? And they said, no, maybe one company, but overall, we're not going to do that. And I heard about Swift, and I was told, oh, don't work for them. That's one of the worst. But I discovered it was one of the easiest to get a job and the fastest. And it was the same deal. I made a phone call and they said, do you have your license now? And I go, no. It was going to be the following week. And they said, as long as you pass that, you're hired. And it was the same deal. Basically, as soon as I got out of school, like the weekend went by, and then I had a bus ticket and I went to Arizona, and I was in a truck within like 48 hours.
Yeah, you know, CR England, when I went there, they made a promise when you walk through the door. One of their big promises was, if you don't give up on yourself, we won't give up on you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they did whatever it took to get you through. If there was stuff that you needed to work on, they worked on it.
Right.
They didn't, they kept their promise as far as not giving up on you. And they kept their promise as far as upholding their contract, to where after you drove for them for a year, they paid off your school loan. It was a $7,000 school loan that would have turned into $10,000 after interest. I paid about $1,500 on it over the year.
Right. Yeah, which you save a lot of money. Right.
Yeah, and they pay it
Well,
completely
I mean,
off.
your success is their success. I mean, if you're failing, that's just screwing them up. So, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't want to support you. So,
yeah, and they've got a saying called "honor the crest." You know what I mean? CR England is a company that's been around for a century, as a refrigerated carrier.
right.
You know, they're not the biggest company in the United States, but they've been around for 100 years. Right. You know,
Well,
every load that we deliver, every load that I deliver feeds one hungry child. Yeah. Just me, myself, I've delivered almost 300 loads this year, or 300 drops.
Right.
And between like the whole company, I think we've fed like almost 1.5 million or 1.75 million children just this year.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah. So I mean, there's also stuff like that, you know, that kind of intrigued me about CR England.
So basically, just do your research. You know,
we have
see what the good fit is.
The minute you get there and you get signed on, you have an option to receive the benefits package.
Yeah.
Right. They give you several different options to go with. They give you as soon as you sign the papers to say that you're going to drive for them, they give you a company pay card, and my company pay card gets filled up with money every week. They've never missed a check. You know what I mean?
So it sounds like there's quite a few benefits for working for CR England, besides the fact that you know, you can get, basically, like I said in the beginning, paid training to land up working for Walmart as a Walmart driver. But overall, I mean, with Walmart aside, just the fact that you've done excellent. They've given you opportunity. You've taken it, made the most of it. And yeah, Dave, I think your story is unique. So hopefully everybody got something out there.
We have people for CR England that have worked here for 23 years.
Yeah.
Our 1 million miler wall got so big that they took it down because they're trying to figure out a new way to display it.
We got a deal like that at my work too. They have it's called Million Mile Aisle, and basically you get the front door parking, you know, to where you go into the office there. So that's pretty cool. Well, all right, Dave. Well, we'll call it a wrap then. And so this is my buddy Dave Luman, and hopefully you guys learned something from it. And I will catch you next time. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you later, man. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.